Good morning, everybody. Got your coffee? I got mine. Looks like you're going to get a morning coffee today after all. Um, I couldn't take it. I had to go get some coffee because, child, I went outside and I looked at the damage in the backyard because I was really concerned about my garden. And it was dark for a long time, even past the time it should have been, because of the hurricane. There's a tree, one of the trees, big, big tree in our backyard came down. It took out the fence and it took out my husband's patio. And then I looked over. You can see in my profile picture a part of my garden. And I saw that the boxes were intact. All of the boxes were intact. So I didn't think my garden was harmed, and I was very concerned. Those of you that follow me on TikTok, you know how important that garden is to me. And ironically enough, I was just getting ready to do garden content because I have some leafy greens growing so that I can put them into the box. And then I thought about that because my mind was so heavy on the pantry library, which we'll get to that. I thought that when the boxes were intact, I didn't even think about the plants. I don't know why my mind was on the tree. It was on some of everything. And there's sirens going off because there are emergency crews everywhere. There's trees down everywhere. The neighbor over here on this side, they got a tree down in the front. It barely missed their little car. They got one of them little Kias. And there's a lady, when we came back, she was cleaning up all the debris from her tree. She just had a really big, large limb that she could just pull to the side, and she good. There's a tree down the street. My neighbor directly across the street, she's got a limb, a big heavy limb right on the top of her house. My husband checked our roof. There's nothing on our roof. But we do have that tree down on the back, and it did quite a bit of damage. So I got to start my gardening all over again. It's South Carolina. Now, the good thing about it is that this is South Carolina. So we have a long growing season. So we'll get it going again. Because that's how you can do. I went to go look a little more closely at the pantry. My husband and I did, and it's not salvageable. And I just hate that because one donation alone nearly paid for that whole. Someone sent excuse me, $100 donation, and I only had to put like an additional maybe $20 or so with it, with taxes and all of that. And she got that for us. Jen. And then another donation bought all the paint that I needed. I mean, I bought the first set of paint, but I think she bought like the second set because it took more paint that red than I thought it would, and I got really good paint. And then somebody sent in the letters for it. Somebody sent in the acrylic paint to draw the designs on it. People, because I asked them to give, they gave. And don't get me wrong, y'all have donated so much to where I could restock it, but it's damaged, so I'm going to have to figure something else out there. So I can't restock it, but there's enough stuff to restock it. And so I drove around my neighborhood. We don't have power. I drove around my neighborhood. When we first came here 5 years ago, we came here and we experienced Hurricane Dorian. And it was nothing compared to this. I mean, we've had hurricanes. Obviously, this is South Carolina. It's a coastal state. We've dealt with hurricanes. But we live inland. And so we're not usually affected like this. And like I said, all yesterday, I really didn't feel well. So I didn't pay attention. Like I normally pay attention to news and weather and stuff like that. Especially being a gardener. Gardeners were always paying attention to the weather. And because the plants are important. But, my plants, they didn't survive. The last time something like this happened, we didn't even bother to call the insurance company because we had a windstorm and it took out my garden too. This was maybe about, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. And it took out my garden too, but you replant and you recover. But it did bring down one of the trees in the back. And we just paid for that, and it took out the chain link fence. And it went on our neighbor's side. And they were real cool about it. That was before these new people moved in. And we had somebody come out. We just paid for it out of pocket. We just had somebody come out. Because our insurance is $1,000 deductible. And we have great insurance, don't get me wrong. We got great homeowners. But we opted to pay it out of pocket because, this is America and you get penalized for using something that you pay for every single month. It's codified in your mortgage payment. And then we just got our taxes raised. We just got a property tax raise. We can't really realistically afford an increase in our insurance right now. I'm worried about this elderly lady across the street, without any power. The elderly, but she got a lot of family though. She got a lot of family. The elderly, they suffer the most when stuff like this happens. But children have us to take care of them. The elderly oftentimes don't have anyone. And so they don't have water. We have plenty of water. We have plenty of food, y'all. My the pantry out here is devastated. But my personal, the pantry in my house is fine. We got plenty of soups and stuff like that. I went and, hurried up and took a shower because, I don't know how long we're going to have hot water for. And my husband, when he first went out there and he saw the tree down, and he was like, it don't look that bad. And I know he was speaking about my garden, and then he went on the other side and his whole patio is just destroyed. I bought it this year for him for his birthday. And he adored that patio set. I'm going to get him another one though. So now it's just deciding if we can afford to pay for this out of pocket, or if we need to just pay the deductible on the insurance. I'm glad that the tree fell on our side though, and it didn't go on the neighbor's side. Actually, I'm really thankful for that, because despite whatever, I may feel about these new folks next door, I don't never want to be no problem for nobody. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that the tree swayed this way and into our yard. They're renters. We're homeowners. We're not as affected as they are. And they built that deck. That tree would have took that deck out. But believe it or not, I'm happy that that didn't happen. I wouldn't want our tree to cause anybody any damage. I don't have that kind of nonsense in my spirit. And then I told my husband, I said, look, I gotta go find some coffee because I ain't gonna be able to make it. And he's the coffee drinker. I didn't drink coffee till I met my husband. But he's the coffee drinker. He is. But I'm just looking at our pull-up pantry, and my husband was like, we might as well just leave it there for a minute because the storm surges are coming and going. Like right now it's kind of mild. The skies are a little darker, but it's kind of mild, and people are out here cleaning up. But I don't think that this is the end of it. I hear North Carolina is getting hit pretty hard. I heard Texas got hit hard. Florida is having massive flooding, but when aren't they? Parts of South Carolina, I did know yesterday. I did watch some news. It's a lot of flooding. I knew that one of the streets near me, one of the main streets near me, was heavily flooded. And our street, the good thing about our street is that our street is on an incline. I know, weird, I know, but when you drive down the street, you kind of like go down an incline, so it's almost impossible for it to flood. So, you know, we're not in the flood zone. When we were looking at houses, so many of them were in flood zones here in South Carolina, and that was one of the reasons why we opted for this property. I don't know what kind of day I'm gonna have behind this. Y'all just keep us in your thoughts. And here's the wind is picking up again. I'm gonna end this, and I'm gonna go in the house and I'm gonna say a little prayer for all my neighbors, because there's lots of people that couldn't get to work. Like this lady across the street from me, Kitty Corner, she didn't go to work today, and this lady go to work every single day except for Saturday and Sunday. She go to work every single morning, and I know because we leave out right at the same time every single morning. I've never seen her, known her to miss a day except today, and it's bad. There's trees down everywhere, even on the main streets. A hurricane. But you know, in Michigan, we dealt with these things called polar vortexes, and that's a mug, and that's just when the sky opens up and dumps a massive amount of snow on top of you, and it becomes extremely cold. Like throw water in the sky and it turns to snow cold. So it's always something, you know, it's always something. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I don't know what I'm gonna do about the pantry. I gotta worry about the tree first. I'm praying that we get our lights back today. One of the areas very close to me, I saw where they got updated and they got their power back. Over in College Town, they got their power back, and that's really close to us. And hopefully we will. I noticed one of the street lights was on when we came back. One of the traffic lights, rather. When we were leaving to go get coffee, it wasn't on. But when we were coming back, it was on. And so I was hoping that we might have power back. But then we turned down the street and we saw that none of the churches were lit up down here or anything. And the gas stations and the whatnot. It is what it is. Hopefully I'll have better news for y'all next time. But I really did hate to have to tell y'all about the library. I really did. I did not. That is not something I wanted to say to y'all. Y'all have a good morning and y'all have a good day. And hopefully your day is better than mine. And hopefully my tomorrow will be better. And y'all say a little prayer that we get our lights back on, because I am so worried about those groceries I bought yesterday. Have a day.